Futures and options on futures trading involve substantial risk and is not a suitable investment for all types of investors. Past results are not necessarily indicative of future results. When I use the word I in this video, it refers to what I teach in my charting course or what I author in my twice daily oral and written updates. Prices shown on charts and quote boards are in real time and take into account all known activity up to this point in time. And if you'd like to read more of this disclaimer, simply hit the pause key on your video player.
Good afternoon. Ira Epstein of Linn Associates with your agriculture update, and this is for May 1st, Monday. Good afternoon, all. Ira Epstein of Linn Associates with your agriculture update for this Tuesday, May 1st, 2018, getting on to 1:35 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and boy, we have a grain market. It's on fire. Take a look at these prices. Meal was up $10 today. But everything's come alive in the grains, and that's even with the farmers out there planting. Now, there's mixtures of reasons. Crop tours taking place to assess the damage of the hard red winter wheat. Then we've still got the Argentine situation where we're now starting to hear early numbers as to what the damage is like from the drought that they had. And of course, with the trade wars, we're not exactly certain who's going to get what if things don't go well. Now, I was watching Wilbur Ross today, maybe 30 minutes ago from this time. And I heard him, and he was very bold about it. The Chinese don't really, they steal our information. They say one thing, but it's not there. Words are better than the actions. The hostess asked, she said, is this the way you're going into the negotiations? You know, it's pretty bold. He said, it's fact. And that's why we're going in. It's fact. I heard another interview with him where he said, if they do the same thing, expect us to be out of there very quickly. So hardball, the Trump theme all the way through. Either give us what we want or we're stepping back, and you'll see what that's going to amount to. Still a rough game. Stock market up in the NASDAQ. Apple earnings coming out, also carrying the Russell a bit. The other indices down a bit right here. But let's get to the grain markets because that's where the power was. You're still down for the week, 2.5 cents. So I don't want you to think this market's coming live on a weekly basis just yet. But when you go to the daily chart, you can see you had the follow through from yesterday. Remember, we peaked out here in the 1060s. Fell back today into the 1041 level and then roared back to 1053.25 on the close. In terms of a trend, you are trending. You have a pattern of higher lows and higher highs. What would break that is taking out 1030.5. The market is fighting now 3 days in a row at the 18-day moving average of closes. That's important. I consider that the line in the sand, the demarcation point. When you're over it, you have upside bias. Under it, bearish bias. The market's saying that the swing line is up. That's bullish. And the bias is up. That's good. Objective could be the 1071.75 zone if it could follow through. Support still the 1050.75 level. And momentum still sitting pretty flat. Flat is not down, but it is flat. When we look at the meal market, it soared today. Now, it's another day over the upper Bollinger Band. Yesterday it came back, settled under it, but you're trying to push that band out. And if we take a look right here, this can be an explosive situation to the upside. See all the sideways action? Markets spin within them. And as they spin, and that's what you had, you were spinning here, down to here. If you start pressing it out, you failed there, now you're starting to move out again, watch out. Take a look at the dollar index. This is the same formation that happened in the dollar index and it has taken off. Or look at the flip-flop of it in the euro currency. You'll learn from that. You are overbought, but markets that break out of sideways trends inevitably get overbought to break out to the upside or oversold to the downside. Soybean oil is ill. You have the fully embedded reading, powerhouse to the downside, riding the lower Bollinger Band, powerful. You get under it, you get back over it, you're staying within that 95% of the time rule that while it's support, you don't get too far away from it and you pull back into it. In the corn market, up to the upper Bollinger Band where this market ran into resistance. Now, if you look at that Bollinger Band, it's right here at the 404.5 area. You close 405.75, just over the market. So, pretty good action, overbought, uptrend that hit a target. Is this going to be its sideways action? Don't know, but that's why I started off. The grain markets have come alive, and I think you're going to find willing buyers in these markets on the big breaks. In the wheat market, we know that the market's got the crop wheat tour people out there. We're all listening to hear what they're saying, and as they start telling us what these crops are like, the market's building in that it's worse than we thought. So that carries all the blends of wheat up, and you're taking the Chicago with it over the upper Bollinger Band, momentum up. Grains are overbought except for the soybeans, but they're all in uptrends. In the sugar, when we lost this embedded reading right here, and you get the red number back over 20, and you don't get right under it immediately, what happens the next day, in other words, price in the 18-day average tend to make a run at each other. And that's what you've had going on, as you can see right here. Now, if this ends here, maybe we come back. It was interesting that I read that Goldman Sachs, I think was the company, saying they're starting to see value in sugar at the 11-cent area. Okay. They're bullish on all commodities, and so far, it's the best asset class of the year to be in. In the coffee market, up and away, right to the 100-day average of closes. Now, that's a big number. When we were back up here before, we failed at that number. Let's see if that occurs again. Traders are going to be watching it, overbought, but it's broken out of its downtrend. That part of the game is over. In the cocoa market, up and away. Now remember, these markets are up and away. They're priced in dollars. The dollar's been soaring, and yet they're not backing off. Higher lows, higher highs, but overbought in the market. Cotton has no trend. It's got a pattern of lower highs and higher lows. So it's coming in like a triangle right there. Momentum is just sort of hanging here, overbought, looking to see which way does it go. Get under 83.32, it actually turns bearish. I don't have anything now to turn it up, because to turn up, you got to get right back over that yesterday's high, and that'll put you right at the upper Bollinger Band. Interesting time. Cattle market got, number one, it stayed overbought. Number two, it's fallen back to the 18-day average. It is not trending. It has a higher high and a lower low. Feeder cattle market peaked out against the combination of the 100-day average and the upper Bollinger Band, and has fallen back under the 18-day average of closes. If it were to just catch stop orders, it could sink all the way back here. Momentum is turned down, but it is not trending. And in the hogs, after that vertical decline, what did I say yesterday? The odds strongly favor that the market's going to bounce away from that Bollinger Band at this point, and that's what it's trying to do. It's a huge break that the market saw, so getting back for a run to the 18-day average might be in the cards. There is no trend to trade as I'm seeing it, so you got to be very, very careful with it as you're watching it. But we put out charts that cover these grains, and they're called charts of the day, and we cover them daily. You might get a cocoa chart today, you might get natural gas tomorrow, soybeans the day after, sometimes two a day. And we review patterns with you that give you an idea if the market's going to run. Now listen to what I just said. If it's going to run, it's a measurement tool. You know, Fibonacci numbers don't throw out buy and sell. They give you measurements where you might go. Gann give you measurements, resistance, support, where you might find that in the market. Same as on a price count, in an easy to see way to do it, and what we think very consistent in the approach to it. How do we get this to you? It's simple. It's called email. We get you on a list called Chart of the Day. You get to see it. If you want to subscribe to it down the road, you're absolutely welcome to. If you've been on the list, well, then you've already tried it. Give us a call. Go to our website for Chart of the Day. You can click up here at any point in time if you're watching me on YouTube, or underneath us, it says click here for Ira's free information. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a good day, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.